So, uh, so hi guys. This is a webinar which we will be introducing the basics of finance to you. The kickstart to finance. This webinar will be mostly about 1 hour, and we'll be covering all the basics of finance. With that, which will be feeling, कि मतलब finance is like very interesting subject and all. Okay, cool then. The main question what we'll be getting when it comes to finance and stocks and all is why do we need to invest at all? Do you have any answer that why do we need to invest at all? Any answer? Uh, any answer, any random answer, whether it be correct or not. Just give me an answer. Like why we need to. One is saying inflation, yeah, good, and one is saying money to make profit, to make extra bucks. Second source of income, increase your money, investment brings return. Yeah, the answers are mostly right, but I'll be getting in through a story, a small story kind of thing. I have you any time heard that your parents keep on saying, we used to go to school with a school fees of 10 paisa, we used to eat ice creams which is cost of 5 paisa and all. And now the school fees is like 50,000 and like ice creams went up to 100 rupees and all. You know, this happens mostly because of inflation. Like one guy gave an answer, inflation, it's nice. And see, imagine like my grandfather's salary used to be 2 to 3 rupees, and imagine that my grandfather is saving the money in an almara. So literally, it's like I can't do anything with the 2 3 rupees now, right? So the main thing is like when we invest, the money which you're having, the income or the savings which you're having will be increased. Like the savings will be increased a lot. So this happens because I remember that when I am in a childhood, 20 rupees I would get dozen bananas. Now with 20 rupees I'm getting half dozen bananas. So the money value will be going on, going on, going on. So we got an answer that if we are not investing, the value of our money is going down. So our first answer is like investment करना है क्योंकि we need to increase our capital, increase our money. Otherwise, the money value is going to fall. So investment, like what the term investment means, I gave an answer here. An investment is an asset or an item acquired with the goal of generating income or appreciation. The same term here. That we are investment is an asset or item which we are buying. Like we are buying some asset which is generating income for us. It is known as investment. Like if we invest something, if you are investing in something, they give us money at the end. That is known as investment. So inflation. Any brief idea about inflation do you have? Like type the definition or any idea what you have about inflation? Let me check the answers. We will keep it as engaging as possible. Okay, decrease of value of money. Dhruv Somani said decrease of value of money. Yeah, decrease of value of money goes down. Aditya, okay, yeah, Dharmik Patel, Maheja. Your answers are, the decrease. Huh. Yes, inflation. Inflation is like a decrease in the money value or decrease in the power price of the money. Let us get to an definition of this. Inflation is a rate at which the value of a currency is falling, and consequently the general level of prices for the goods and services is rising. See, the consequently term is important here. When the value of the money falls down, which means that the price of the goods are rising up, and this is known as inflation. And this inflation, I gave an example like banana, and like the rates are increasing and all. So will the inflation good or bad? Like I want to get this answer. Like inflation is decrease in the purchasing power of my money. So is that good or bad, like in your point of view? Good. Somebody are saying good. Anindya saying good, Ankit saying good, good, good. Samir saying bad, some are saying bad, some are saying good. So, can anybody raise their hand and say why it's good and why it's bad? Like, someone are saying good, right? Kirti said good, and Anindya, yeah, one guy raised his hand, like, for mic access. Nishta, give him the mic access to Karan. Uh, yeah. One guy said, please repeat the question. Like, see, inflation is like decrease in the purchase power of the money. Like, eventually the price of the goods keep going up. So, if that happens in our society, is that good or bad? Is my question. Like, the general increase in the rates of the goods or decrease in the power of our money is good or bad? Uh, can anyone give the mic access to him? I think I don't have permissions to give mic access to him. Uh, Nishita, you have permission?
Uh, Everyone can just type the answer in the chat box, please. Thank you.
Okay, fine then, cool. I'll be reading your answers, right? Fine. Sorry, we are not able to unmute you. I think some error or something. Yeah. Good as long as it's not crossing the rate of income increase in general. Yeah, Arnav said. Yeah. Depends on currency. USA has been printing trillions, yet it as strong as ever. So if you print more money and more people invest, it should be okay. Yeah, this is one kind of answer. Like, we'll also know about the printing of money and all later. Uh, Producers when become consumers to have pay high, okay, not good as it decreases the value of currency. If we compare it with the financial term, okay, one is saying it's not good, okay. If the money of the value, if the value of money decreases, the people will force it to spend, thus maintaining the healthy economy. Yeah, on India's answer is like, yeah, it's nice, like that's the right answer, which am going to say now. Samir Raj also said inflation is good. Yeah, you are in a right track. Some are feeling it is bad. Let me explain it in a very nice manner. Ki, inflation is good or bad. It's good. Like, it's good, and I have answers also. See, ideally, OPM level of inflation is required to promote spending to a certain extent instead of saving, thereby nourishing economic growth. See, certain extent is fine, so that it will be nourishing economic growth. It seems like, see the terms, when the price of the goods are going up, it is nourishing economic growth. Let me explain it clearly. Suppose, I said an example, right? My grandfather used to have 2 to 3 rupees as salary. He know that in future the money value will be going down. So what he did, he started spending out. Like, my grandfather bought lands and he bought gold also. These all are investment, and that's how the money flow in the market started. So if the value of money is not decreasing, what people will be thinking then? अच्छा, money of value is not decreasing. मैं सारी money अलमारी में रख लेता हूँ, because in future this money has more value than present. So what they'll be doing? They'll not be spending more. They'll be saving more. With that, what happens? The money flow in the market decreases. When the money flow in the market decreases, many businesses get down because shopkeepers live on your spending, right? Like, many shops will be surviving because you spend them. So when the money cycle gets disturbed, the economic falls down. So it's like, to a certain extent it's good. Why I'm saying certain extent, why it's not very high? Because if the money is going too high now, I will not have capacity to buy the goods also. One case is, I'm not buying the goods. If the money is too high, I cannot buy the goods. Again, the money cycle will be disrupting and the economic growth of the country will be going down. This is one case of scenario. Other case of scenario is like, what if the prices are going down? That is good, na? Then you are saying this is bad. Then going, then it's a money value. The price of my money is increasing, and the price of the goods are decreasing so much. Will that be good? Like, if the market, if the money flow in the market is too high, will that be good? I want to know why it is not good or why it is good. Like, Acha, Aman Kumar said, how it is good for us, it's good for country, but what about us? You see, that's why I'm saying, to a certain extent. To a certain extent, it's good. Like, it's good for you, but when the country, see, if the country collapses, na, who will give you salary then? If the country, see, suppose India tomorrow said, हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, so all the jobs in India will be going out. So the salary, who will pay salary for you? So we are in a same sailing boat. We are in both ends. Like, if one end sinks, other end goes up, and like that kind of thing. So calculate how to calculate the OPM rate of inflation. Yeah, that will be too mathematical. We are discussing basics, and this is kickstart to finance. So we won't go to that extent of mathematics. Okay, let me discuss this one. It's good, but why we discussed here? See, if the purchasing power of the money is so high, and if you're spending more and more of money, हमारा savings नहीं होता है. मतलब you feel to spend everything ना. If you are getting more with a less amount of money, what you will be feeling? अच्छा, I'll spend this, I'll spend on this, I'll spend on this, I'll spend on this. At last हमारा savings खत्म हो जाता है. If our savings are ended up at a particular stage of time, after that the business again gets shut down because हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, we already spent everything. So government is very clever in handling these things. You know what they does? They will be saying the RBI comes to the RBI comes into the market and saying, "Hey banks, what you do? No, you increase the interest rates so that people come and invest in your banks. Suppose the 5% interest is there for a 1 lakh rupee for depositing in bank. RBI says increase it to 6%. What people think now? Acha, government is giving more interest rate, so I'll be keeping my money in the government. With that, the thing is like you are having, instead of spending, you're saving again in the bank. This is a more interesting topic. It's a very nice topic which we will be discussing in the tomorrow's econ webinar. Otherwise we'll be deviating like that to many other topics and all. So okay bhaiya, you are saying to increase money. So to increase money, what should I do? So what should I do to increase my money? The answer is invest. Simple answer. To increase your money, what you will be doing? You should invest it, right? And like when it comes to investing, one has to choose an asset class. Asset classes are like buying anything, any asset. We discussed, right? Buying any asset which will be giving some generating income to us, and which suits the individual's risk and return temperament. Matlab, when you're buying an asset, it has a particular amount of risk and particular amount of return also. So this is like the simple answer. What to do to increase our money? Invest it. So where should I invest it? Like we discussed about asset classes, right? So what are the popular asset classes? I want to know an answer from you. Like which asset classes do you know? Yeah, so if they invest money, they would invest in bank only, so there will be money flow. uh, I didn't get your answer. Like, so if they acha, acha, it's a reply to him. Okay, fine. So real estate is one. Yeah, mutual funds is one. Yeah, real estate, mutual funds, and any other thing. Gold. Yeah, stock market. Nice. Equity. Okay, stocks, gold, mutual funds, shares. Nice. Like property. Yeah, yeah. Stock market, Bitcoin. Yeah, these are asset classes, like popular asset classes. Bitcoin is not one of them, but okay, we will be discussing the popular asset classes. The fixed income instruments, the fixed income instruments are like fixed deposits. They give a fixed amount of you at the end of every month. Like they give a particular amount of money each and every month. They are like pseudo non-risky things. Like we can say that they are non-risky things because they give a certain amount of money per every month. And real estate, the real estate is like land and all, we know that. Commodities, which means precious metals, like one said gold. No, gold comes under commodities. Silver also comes under commodity, and there are many other commodities also. Equity, the equity and stock are like same thing, like we'll be discussing that one. But out of all these things, the risk free thing, I should say, is that the fixed income instruments, the risk is free. So but yeah, the risk is free now, so why I'm not investing in that? The risk is free, the return will also be free. So if the risk is more, the return might also be more. So the person who want to take risk, he'll be getting into equity, and all. Like who doesn't want to get into risk, they'll go to fixed income instruments. So wait, so what are stock exchanges now? Like you said, fixed income instruments are like fixed deposits. What LIC gives you, real estate, you can buy lands, gold from gold shops, equity from stock exchanges, right? So what are the stock exchanges actually? The stock exchange is a place where securities, shares, bonds, and other financial instruments are bought and sold by traders or brokers. The stock exchange is the place where securities, shares, bonds, and other financial instruments. Like, see the terms. It can be security, it can be share, it can be bond, are bought and sold. The bought and sold are like exchange, right? So stock is like buying and selling something is known as exchange. So stock exchanges are the place where exchange of securities, shares, and bonds occur. So what are the exchanges in India? I want to know, like, do you know what are the exchanges in India? BSC, yeah, fine. NSC, BSC, okay, fine. Someone said Nifty, like I'll get into that later. NSC and BSC, yeah, NSC and BSC is right. Cool. Now we'll get into that one. See, exchanges in India are like, there are two types of exchanges. One is stock exchange, one is commodity exchange. Stock exchange has NSE, BSE, and CSE also. CSE can be ignored, but for knowledge purpose, we are adding that one. CSE is Calcutta Stock Exchange, which is not that functional right now. But okay, BSE and NSE are the two major stock exchanges in India right now. Have you heard about the word Sensex anytime? Sensex, word Sensex. Yeah, I think many have heard that. Like, is that the word used only in India or in other countries too? Yes, like only in India? Yes, only in India. Only in India. Sensex crossed 50K recently. Yeah, yeah, fine. I think you are all are following the stock market very nicely. That's a very positive thing. Other countries too. Dharmik Patel, no, it's only used in India. The Sensex term, the term actually came from the sensitivity index. Like BSC works upon the sensitivity index, which means that sensitivity. They took the sense word from the sensitivity index from the last X and they merged it and they made Sensex, and thus the BSE name came out. And one interesting fact about BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest stock exchange in Asia too. When the Britishers are ruling, also we had run this Bombay Stock Exchange. Initially, it used to be under Banyan Tree, it seems, in the Mumbai town hall or something. But we need to know that the Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest stock exchange in the whole Asia. So let us come into NSE also. The as BSE have Sensex, NSE have something, right? NSE should have something, right? So what's the term NSE have? Nifty, yeah, Nifty 50. Someone had said, Nifty 50. The name Nifty 50 came from National Stock Exchange. Matlab, they took some words from some letters and like they merged everything and they formed a nice name Nifty. Nifty 50, the significance of 50 here is the 50 most valuable trades, like they represent the 50 most valuable stocks in the NSE. You can see Nifty 500 also, Nifty 100 also. But yeah, then what's Nifty 50? I want you guys to know about this one. I will be not discussing that right now here. Next is like commodities. Commodities are like not that important, but okay, knowing about that is fine. Like we discussed, commodities is precious metals. So ICX, MCX, and NCDX are the few commodity exchanges in India. And also, let me show something to you. What is this graph? Like this is the graph of Sensex. This is the graph of Sensex over 1998 to 2017. Sorry, I was not able to add the 1992 part also here because I didn't get any picture. And by the way, how many of you saw the 1992 scam movie? Me. Okay, fine. I saw many people saying me. And I also want to know कितने लोग scam 1992 को scam करके देखा था? Me again. I'm seeing those names are like you saw scam 1992 in Telegram. Yeah. See, you all saw scam 1992 by doing a scam. See that. Huh. And there are two major things I want to say in the Sensex graph. One thing is like in 2009, what happened actually in 2009 or 2008? See, the Sensex went drastically down. Na? Like we know 1992 scam, Harshad Mehta, very famous. It was a web series also came out. We know about that. There are some other things we need to know. In 2008 or 2009 क्या हुआ था? Anybody had an idea about that one? US recession, yeah, nice. The Big Short movie for 2008, yeah, nice. Uh, oh, sorry, I was opening this one. Cool, yeah. In 2008, there used to be a bank, matlab financial institution called Lehman Brothers, which declared bankruptcy night to night. Matlab financial institution is like HDFC and ICICI in India. In US, it's a very big financial instrument which declared bankruptcy. And in 2008 to 2009 also, there's one more thing in India happened. Did anyone know that what happened at the same time in India at that time? 25 दिन में पैसा गायब, ताज अटैक, हाउस क्राइसिस, मुंबई बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट, CWG scam. At that time what mainly happened is Satyam scam. Satyam computers का scam है ना, and it also took place in that time itself. So two major things for Indian government, and it went down. And you can see some rise here, right? At this point, like suddenly Sensex boomed up, right? Which year it falls to? 2014, yeah. मतलब 2014 में ऐसा जादू, मतलब what magic happened in 2014 that the Sensex went up? Any idea? Modi government, Lok Sabha, yeah, आपकी बात, Modi सरकार आया, and it's like Modi came and took the stock market up, or it's like any other thing happened, like what made the stock market up? Like, see, politicians cannot operate stock market, right? See, it's not about the Modi government. It's about the NDA government, which is a very stable government at that time. When Congress government was there, it was with alliances. But the NDA emerged as single major party. The stock market mainly depends on the stability of the government. If a bill passes in a Lok Sabha, there are enough BJP MLAs or NDA MLAs, I say, rather than saying BJP, the NDA MLAs could easily pass away the bill. No, the stock market needs a stable government. After many years in India, a very stable government occurred, so that the stock market went up. It's not of like only BJP did something, but it's a stable government affected the stock market. So one last topic I want to add is that who is the richest person now? Yeah. Richest person is Musk. Yeah, not Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos went down. It's Elon Musk now. Have you ever got any doubt that how Elon Musk was richest person in the pandemic? Matlab, in this COVID-19 pandemic, who no one are buying many cars, nothing is happening, no market and all. Tesla, how it went up, nobody, matlab in India, Tesla just entered here. Yeah, someone is saying Tesla stock went up. Tesla stocks grow to 720%. Yeah, you see the Tesla stock now. When I'm saying the Tesla stock, see where it is in 2020 March, 114 rupees. See, right, uh, 5 rupees, 5 rupees. It drastically came here. Again, COVID-19 pandemic, it went down to 85 rupees. Then from within, I think, 6-7 months, the shares of Tesla, see the inclining graph of Tesla, because the positive news about Elon Musk started SpaceX, Elon Musk started Starlink, the positive news, everything adds up to the rise in shares of his own company. And Elon Musk's company, so he'll be having major shares than everyone. So as the shares went up, the net worth of Elon Musk went up. See, in the span of 6-7 months only, I think $761 per share went up. So this is the main reason why Elon Musk was up. So when you enter into finance now, you will be able to relate all the doubts, and like you will enjoy a lot when you come into finance. So okay, now I hope this is very interesting. And now Shashwat, my friend, will be continuing with other interesting topics now. Shashwat,
Hello, guys. So I see you are pretty excited. Huh? So we will be doing a little intro to the market. All right. Yeah. So the first thing which comes up is it all starts with an IPO, right? You might be hearing a lot of this that IPO term these days. So IPO is basically like its full form is initial public offering. It is basically a process where private corporations become public by offering their stocks. Okay, so stocks are basically an entity which represent that you own a part of that company. Like and more often than not, company goes public when early investors want to realize their profit from their investments. That begs a question as how do you decide the price of a stock? So a company hires investment banking firms to gauge the demand, like quote, and set the IPO prices. All right, like any one of you have seen Suits? Anyone? Yeah. So I guess you'd be pretty interested in investment banking, is it? Uh, Yeah. So they hired those investment banking firms like Goldman Sachs and all, JP Morgan Chase. They set the price of the IPOs. So now, once the people in the market receive the share of the company, then the market decides its price over time. Yeah, Indigo Paint's IPO is coming up. So, first of all, you need to get a demat account. Like you have an account in your bank to keep money, right? So you need to get a demat account to keep stocks. Demat account is open at basically a brokerage house. All right, they are registered at SEBI. So many of you must have seen that movie Wolf of the Wall Street, right? Yeah. So that guy there works at a stock exchange. They do not purchase or sell stocks. What they do is they offer a portal between the retail investor and the purchasing community, right? So and how the market decides the price over time. Like for example, suppose I hold a share of Tata Motors at rupees 100. I bought it at rupees 100. All right. So now there is someone who is willing to buy it at rupees 102. And now it's very important. He is willing to buy at 102 because he speculates that the part of Tata Motors represented by that stock, like the share is a part of that company, right? So that part of Tata Motors represented by the stock is worth rupees 102. All right. Now, when a transaction happens between us through the our brokerage houses, at that particular moment, the price of that share will be 102 rupees, and this process continues over the time the market is open, like from 9:15 to 9:30, 3:30. All right. Uh, you might have heard that pre-market opening and market hours, after market hours. Right. So that pre-market hours is all right. I guess many of you are interested in trading, right? Yeah, the pre-market hours is between 9 to 9:50, where the opening price of a stock is decided, right? Next slide, please. Yeah. So when you look to buy a stock or enter a trade, the first thing you see is a chart, right? So the chart is in turn composed of many candlesticks. So we will see how to read them. So there are basically two types of candlestick. One that shows price is increasing and other that shows price is decreasing. So Indian brokers generally put the candlesticks in which the price is increasing as green and in which it is decreasing as red by default. I mean, of course, you can change that. And the first thing in candlestick is that time frame you are seeing, like 5 minute, maybe it is 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, whatever. So what it represents is it represents the movement of the stock in that time period. It was actually, I guess, developed by Japanese in the 17th or 18th century. This candlestick thing. They used to trade rice over this. Anyways, yeah, Manikanta, we will be seeing like that's a pretty big question. Anyways, Nichita will help you actually seeing which stock will go up or down. Okay, so let's come back to candlesticks. All right. So you can see here that there is a body of the candlestick and there are two wicks. Like a candle has a wick, right? Just like that, there's a body of the candlestick and there are two wicks. The high of the upper wick, and I am talking about the candlestick which represent the price going up, the left one. The high of the upper wick represents the highest the price went in that period of candlestick, like in that period of time. Similarly, the low of the lowest wick shows the lowest the price went. Sushant, if you can show it by your mouse, it would be great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
About C.
the, that left one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the high of the highest wick. Yeah, the highest of the wick represents the highest the price went, and the low of the lower wick represents the lowest the price went in that particular period. All right, and there's a body, right? So because that candlestick could be green or white in color. White is generally like people prefer to be it white. So where the candlestick open is the lower part of the body, and where the candlestick closes, like where the prices closes, is the upper part of the body. All right, like just like that, it is in the candlestick where the price comes down. Like the high is the highest and low is the lowest, but the body of the candlestick, the top part represents where the price opened in that period, and the low of the body represents where the price closed. Okay. No, I do not mean lower circuit or upper circuit. Lower circuit or upper circuit is completely different. See, uh, like, can you see in the background there is a chart? Sushan, can you, yeah, let it be. Can you see in the background there is a chart of the
Should I
movement
change
of,
the slide?
no, no, no.
Fine.
Yeah. So you see there are candlesticks in there. Like what they represent is yeah, what they represent is the moment of the price in that particular time period. Sushan, point to that large green bullish one.
So, yeah. This
Yeah.
one, right?
Suppose, yeah, yeah. Suppose we set the time frame to 5 minutes. All right. Now that candlestick might represent the time from let's say 9:55 to 10 o'clock in the morning. All right. So that represents that the price opened at the lower end of the body. Yeah, and it went up in that 5 minutes. Whatever happened in between, we do not know, but it went up and it marked a high, then came down, and then again closed at the upper end of the body. Okay, and then again after in the next 10 o'clock to 10:05 a.m., the next candlestick will be formed. All right. So the candlestick in which the price goes up is known as a bullish candlestick, and the one in which the price comes down is known as a bearish candlestick. Any one of you can tell me that why it is named bullish and bearish? You might have heard that bulls are dominating the market, bears are dominating the market. Do you know why? Right. A bull attacks up always, and a bear attacks down.
Sorry.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Change the slide.
Lower circuit and upper circuit are the lowest and the highest price that a stock can move. Like, and it is actually different for different stocks. Like for some volatile stocks, it is more than 15%, and for generally it is almost about 10% of the price of a stock. All right. So we were talking about three types of trading style, as in like generally there are there are three types of people who trade. All right. So basically, they intraday, positional, or swing. You might have heard, and long-term investment. So we will be seeing their pros and cons individually. So intraday basically means within a day. You take a trade and then exit it on the same day. So of course the pros are a huge profit in short period of time. Like I've seen people booking 150% to like 200% of their capital in a single day in an intraday trade. Like it was not in equity. If any one of you here know about option trading, like it was in Bank Nifty option trading. All right, and also it is a personal favorite of mine. So the pros are that if you have heard about margin, like margin given by broker houses, it's exclusive to intraday trading. Like, do you know about margin that broker houses provide? Any one of you? Yeah. So maybe we can cover it afterwards. So we are running short on time. Basically, what margins are is the broker house provides you with 10x or 15x forex trading. Like you get margin in forex trading, but you generally get it everywhere. So what happens is the broker houses provides you with 10x or 15x of what you are holding in your account. Okay, like suppose you are holding 1 lakh rupees in your account. All right, so the broker houses provide with you a purchasing power of 10x. Like it will be 10 lakh rupees. Like suppose a share was of 10,000 rupees, like you could have bought 10 of them. But if you are doing strictly intraday for that day, your broker houses provide you with extra 9 lakh rupees, so you can purchase 100 of that share instead of 10. So if you're confident enough, you will book a 10x profit than you were supposed to. And if you lose that, potentially blow up your account. Yeah, Manikanta, actually you can. I guess 5% is the threshold limit to get a place as a board member, right? If you own 5 to 7% of a company, you will perhaps get a seat in its board. So that is like owning a company. Okay. And yeah, if you buy 51% of the share, then you will be gaining exclusive access to that company. All right, so let's talk about this. So the cons are, like, obviously the skill requirement is very high because the volatility in price will hit your stop loss. Like terms like stop loss, many of you must know, but anyways, we will cover it later in this webinar. All right. So let's talk about positional traders. Like they are not affected by short-term fluctuations or what you call corrections in the market, right? But you need a decent capital to book profits because the cons are that you have no way to defend yourself from market gap up and gap down opening. Like what we discussed in the pre-market, like if the market the sentiments are opposite to what you analyzed, like what you you took a trade on your analysis, and the next day the sentiments due to some news or anything is completely different, and your stock will open like way gap up or way gapped out. Like that would hit your, like you must have a level now where I will book the profits, right? So if that happens, your stop loss will be triggered. Like there's no way that you can help that. That is the main con of positional trading. Okay. So next is long-term investment, right? So this is basically for people like multimillionaires like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and all. Okay, like you need a great amount of capital for great returns, and you will generally get returns like far greater than inflation, of course. Yeah, we can keep the share for 2 to 3 like positional trading is when you keep a share from, like positional or swing trading is when you keep a trade share from more than 1 day to almost a year. Like people generally keep it from 2 to 3 weeks. All right. So it after 1 year, if you keep a trade, it is legally called long-term investing. If any of you guys have ever filed your ITR return, you know that. Like that 1 year thing is a legal. That 1 year thing is a legal clause. All right. If you hold a share more than for 1 year, you become a long-term investment in that company investor. Right. So, uh, as for the cons of long term investing, like you risk to lose all of your capital, right? Because of course, like Kingfisher, they went down, right? So all the money of the investor went down with them. Like it could become zero, all the money that you invested in it. And of course, you need way too much capital for long term investing. So I guess Nishita will be taking over from here. And if we have time at the last, I can cover a sample. All right.
Uh, okay, Nichita, you can take over.
So, hello everyone. Uh, yes. Okay, so I will be discussing about the technical indicators, like how are we gonna put the how are we gonna long and short the trades. Till now we have learned about the theory and all. So let us discuss like how are we gonna actually do it. So okay, my screen is visible, right? Okay. Okay. So the technical indicator that we are going to discuss here is the MACD, also known as the moving average convergence divergence. Why is it known as this? Because, like, see, moving average convergence divergence, we are going to use it, we are going to name it as MACD, is an oscillator. Why? Why? Because it is like oscillating back and forth about this central line, and it also uses like two moving averages to predict what kind of trend a stock is going to show, like if it is the market is bullish or the market is bearish, how it is gonna show it. So we can use MACD to predict that. So basically, to understand this MACD, we should break down the formula into four different parts. So here we are using this term EMA to understand this. Okay, let's first ask me. First, let me ask you that of you actually know what EMA is. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. So basically, EMA can be understood by SMA. SMA is the simple moving average. Simple moving average is also a kind of technical indicator. So basically, when we have to calculate simple moving average for 20 days, the period here we are taking are days, or it can be hours, minutes. That also a period can be defined that way. And if we are taking for 20 days, so we will wait for 20 days, record the stock prices for 20 days, and on the 21st day we will take the mean of all the 20 days stock prices. So that is SMA. So basically, simple moving average. You might be finding it difficult to understand it right now. It is more mathematical. We will see it like after this how it is used. Uh, okay, so basically EMA is nothing but a kind of SMA, but with more recent prices, and it has a higher weight. So here we are using two EMAs, a long term one and a short term one. The long term one has a 26 period, and the second one, the short term one, is the 12 period. The third component we are using is the MACD line, and it is the difference between the short term EMA and the long term EMA. The fourth component is the signal line. Signal line is nothing but the 9 period EMA of the MACD line itself. So, okay, this all are very technical terms and the formula you might not be understanding right now. I will make it very easy for you. So let us just jump on to this. Yeah. Okay. So here you can see the MACD crossover. Okay, see. This is the histogram. The green, the green and the dark blue one is the positive histogram. The red, the dark red one is the negative histogram. Yeah. See, I was talking about this as the MACD line. See, this is the MACD line. So someone asked in the chat that how are we going to predict if the stock is going upward or downward. So we use this to predict that. Basically, uh, let's see here. You can see here. So the gray line is the signal line, and when this MACD line crosses from below to above, it has the market has a potential to go bullish. It has a potential to show the bullish trend, and we can predict that the price is going upwards. Similarly, when the MACD line crosses from above to below, see there is a downward trend, the beginning of a downward trend, and this MACD line predicts this like very quickly. So it is a very useful technical indicator, and this histogram is should also be considered while putting the trades here. I will show why we should consider this histogram as well. So basically, see, when we are using this MACD, see this is a very bearish candle. So after this, a trader can be confused that okay, we are seeing a bearish candle. So from now on, the trade should definitely go downward. The obviously the stock market is going downward, but what happened is the price went up. See, the bullish market came, and the bullish pattern arises here. See why that trader was confused here, because he only considered this candle and predicted that the stock is going downward. And but if we use this technical indicator, see, like here the MECD predicted that when it crosses the signal line and the histogram is also going downward, the it was bearish for this period of time, and when the histogram got positive and the MACD line crossed the signal line upward, the bullish market was arises. So this all can be very difficult to understand for as a beginning, but trust me, MACD has developed itself as the most simplest technical indicator, and many traders use it to simplify their lives and how to put trades. And this all can be actually automated using code. All of you might have heard about quantitative finance, right? Anyone? Nope. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Few of you have heard and few of you have not. So basically, what we do in quantitative finance is like we build strategies and we code this so that it takes the long and short trades for us, and we don't have to do it by ourselves. Like it is like a robot कर रहा है तुम्हारे लिए काम. Yeah, that you can understand that. Okay.
I'm not sure what you mean.
So I can show you how we can do that. It's a very simple piece of code by using Python and other things as well. You can learn it from YouTube, and other links we will be providing after this session. Okay. I can actually show you how we can automate this. So here I have taken the data for Apple, the Apple stock for 2019 April to 2019 August. Okay, so here I have loaded the data, and using that as I have told you that MACD includes the 26th period and the 12th period. I just coded that, and you can like see here the MACD line and the signal line. So from here the stock went up. The from here the Apple stock went up, and here it was the bearish, and here it was the bullish market. So how we do this, you can always learn it. So this is what quantitative finance means, and this is how you can predict, see, the where the market is going. See, I have put the ticks, use the ticks, like when should we use the entry points, when should we enter the market, when should we sell it. So that's how it makes our lives easy. So definitely we are gonna share this code. You can always attempt that on your own. Yes, algo trading, par Madan. Yes, it is algorithmic trading. Uh, yes, you can always attempt this on your own. We will be sharing everything, and yes, yes, we will be sharing everything. Yeah, Python. Okay, okay. Uh, hmm. So basically, okay. Uh, Thank you. You have been a really great audience, and I will be sharing the documents from where you can learn all this, and I will be sharing the feedback form as well in the chat box, so you can access it from there. And you have been
Yeah,
really
so
great.
there's been a lot of confusion between quant and algo, right? Quant is basically we will share in your groups, and also there might be a mail to you. So quant trading is basically like statistical trading. Like you make strategies out of data. All right, it might be using code. It might be from like from anything. Like you can do it or with your hands. That is quant trading. Like, but automating it, writing the Python code for it or C++ code for it, that is algo trading. Like the if you know about high frequency trading, like all the volume of the market which you see right now, most of it, about 60 to 70%, they are not retail traders, right? They are big investment firms, and they are algorithmic trader trading computers. If you, any one of you have might have heard about that orange box thing that they use to take away your money actually. Yeah, so actually they use computer programs that is specifically designed to take away your money, right, from the market. Retail traders are basically like retail trading is basically guerrilla warfare. Like you have heard about that Vietnam versus USA war, right? Like you might know that, yeah, join FEC club. So you might know that what they did was they were low on ammunition and everything. So what they did were when when the American soldiers would be resting or doing things like they were when they were not aware of that someone is gonna attack, they would attack at that time. Like you must be knowing what guerrilla warfare is, right? So retail trading is basically guerrilla warfare. Like you cannot win from a computer, all right? Like you need to have your win ratios greater than 50% to be a profitable trader, right? So you can, of course, you cannot beat a computer. But what you do is you do guerrilla warfare. You enter a trade when they are least expecting you to. And yeah, it was the first done by Shivaji. And then you exit the trade when after you book a like low amount of profit, as in you don't need to book profits for your whole lifetime in one day, right? So basically that is risk to reward ratio. So what do you say? Shall I cover like a simple trading based on price action in first in a 5 to 10 minutes? What do you guys say? All right, all right. So let me first share my screen. Just a second. Are you guys able to see my screen? All right.
Yeah, Shashwat, we are able to see your screen.
Yeah. Sushant, turn your mic on. This. I am not able to see that chat box. All right. Just tell me what they are asking. So,
Okay, fine, fine.
yeah. Let me just see if I can. No, it won't open. Yeah. So, this is essentially a basic trade based on price action. Okay. So, your market doesn't move straight up or straight down. Okay. It moves swings. Like what I'm saying is, I said a chart, right?
Shashwat,
Chart of a stock.
your voice is a bit unclear. I think internet issue, or it's happening only for me. Let's check it out.
I guess it is.
Yeah, yes, it is lagging. Maybe there is some internet issue.
Yeah. Is it audible
Yeah,
now?
yeah, it's
Yes.
fine now.
Like, is it audible now? I guess it is because I'm sharing screen, right? Let me just turn off my video. It might help. Is it lagging now?
No, Shashwat, it's clear.
Okay, okay, right. So, the chart of a trade, or if you're an intraday trader or a position trader, that would vary if you are seeing this chart on a 1 day basis, like from 5 minutes to 1 minute, or you are seeing this chart on a daily basis. Okay, is it lagging right now?
No, no, no. You can continue. It's fine.
Yeah. So market doesn't move in a straight up or straight down fashion. All right. What I said was these are candlesticks. Like these help you determine the moment of the future moment. Like market is basically probability. All right. This will help you get the future moment, bet on the future moment of stock. All right. You see how it is how it is forming swings like this way and this way.
Shashwat, your screen sharing was off, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So this movement of stock is called price action. All right. So of course there can be two way the stock will move, upwards and downwards. Okay. So when the stock moves upwards, it will form like first let us see when the stock. All right. Like this is a lower low and this is a lower high.
Shashwat, we are not able to see your screen.
Okay. Do me a favor. You shared that 10th slide. All right. Just point to where I am.
Okay, fine.
Point to where I'm saying. Okay.
Okay, cool. It's fine.
Sorry guys for the interruption.
Uh, okay, I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah, you guys are there, right? This might be the most interesting thing in the whole webinar.
Fine.
Yeah.
Are you able to see my screen
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah, sure. So, what I'm saying is the market will not obviously move in a straight up or straight down fashion. Okay. So, what it does is, it moves in a wave kind of fashion. Like you see, like, can you determine, yeah, that this wave? So, obviously, this wave can be of three types. One, it will go up. Second, it will go down. Or it will go from left to right, like horizontally, this wave. So when the market is going up, it is forming a upward wave movement. It is known as uptrend, and when it is going down, it is known as downtrend. And when it is flat, it is known as sideways market. Like sideways market are shit. Like you cannot especially intraday traders, they book profit from volatility of the market. Like anyhow, no matter how good it is, most of the time, most of the intraday traders will lose their money in sideways market. So let us talk about this downtrend market. All right. So in that swing, every time the wave touches that imaginary trend line, it is known as a swing. Okay. So there are two parts. There lower low, yeah, where Sushant is pointing, lower low and lower highs. Okay.
Yeah, this
So
one.
you will be seeing three lower lows in this swing because there are three swings. There are three lower lows. Sushant, please. Yeah, one, two, and three. Okay. And there are three lower highs. Like the first one. Yeah. Yeah. The second one. And the third one. The third time, like below it, when the price action touches the imaginary trend line. So what is it is stock generally move in a fashion that they respect, obviously they do not always respect it, but most of the times they respect this trend line. Like this is in this example, it beautifully respect that trend line. All right. So what we do is after two swings, when we see that the market is going down, the market is coming down. So when the market when the market puts a lower high, then you go short on that trade. Okay, so you go short means you sell first, like what is going down in a trade, like what is the general perspective of a stock. Like you can buy at a lower price and then you sell at a higher price. That is the way you book profit, right? Can you please react with that reaction emoji you got? Yeah. So you guys are understand what I'm saying, right? Yeah, sure. So a very, I don't know why most of the people don't know it, but a better way of getting profit is when you go short on a stock. Like you first sell the stock at a higher price and then you buy it at a lower price. Like when COVID happened, when lockdown happened, everyone was knowing that the prices will come down. Yeah, I do not trade every day in intraday. I can tell you things, but it would actually we have crossed the time limit. So, anyways, uh, we sell. So the people what they did were they sell at higher prices when the market opened, and when the market came down, they would buy it. So that is known as going short on a trade. Okay. So here, when the market touches the trend line on the second swing, you would go short. You would sell the trade. You could sell the stock, whatever. Like, of course, after knowing what risk you are taking in a calculated risk manner, and then when the market will again come down and touch the extreme of the previous swing, you will book the profits. You will buy that stock. All right. So essentially, what you did were you sold it for higher price and bought it for lower price. But how you did is that is the opposite of what you do generally. Actually, the time limit to buy after selling depends on the broker house. Like the biggest broker house in India, Zerodha, that is that discount broker, they do not allow positional trades on short selling. All right, but there are many broker houses in India which allows short selling to go on positional trades. Okay, right. So, and what you now, of course, you know where your reward is. Like you know how much you at what position you would book profit, right? Like obviously you'd be confused. Like if it is going down, when shall I book profit? If, I hope it does not reverses. So that's not how this thing works. You need to keep your emotion in control. So you took your trade here where the point three is you went short on that trade. All right, you know your profit, and you must know where to place your stop loss. Like how much loss can you take on that trade? Okay, so that is above the above the last upper high of the previous swing. Okay, that second line, second pointer, uh, the pointer that is lower in the first box, right? Above that, Sushant.
Yeah, yeah. Which one you are talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, this.
When the price action touches the line, say the second time.
Hmm. This one, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Acha,
that one.
here or this one? Acha, here, fine.
No, no, that one. The
This one.
previous one.
Yeah.
That is where you put your stop loss. All right. So that is a calculated risk. So the you know your risk, you know your reward. Okay. So that ratio is known as risk to reward. Now let me tell you something very interesting. The MACD trader along with EMA that Nishita talked about, its win ratio is 60%. All right. Like you in 1 is to 1.5, 1 is to 2, 1 is to 2, 1 is to 2 risk to reward ratio trades. Yeah, I personally use Girota. Okay, in 1 is to 2 risk to reward trades, the win ratio of MACD trades are 1 is 60%. All right. So suppose I take 100 trades. All right. Suppose I have 100 rupees. Okay, and I take 100 trades of like whatever 1 rupees each. Okay. So when I lose, when I will lose 1 is to 2, I will win 60 times, and I will win 60 times, and my reward is 2. And when I lose one part. All right. So what you do is I will be gaining 120 rupees and I will be losing 40 rupees. Right. So essentially, what I gained was 80 rupees. So this is the probability. This is how this is how intraday trading works. Okay. Like basically, it is mathematics and probability. Now you can argue that because that our risk and reward ratio is 1 is to 2, so there is higher chances of us hitting the stop loss than hitting our target, right? So that is where analysis comes into play. Like this is not simple random walk. Like market does not work on, yeah, simple. You might not know what is simple random walk. So simple random walk is when anything, like suppose a stock will move anyway, can move any way it wants at any particular time. But you see here, it doesn't work that way. I wrote in the chat once that trend is your friend. If the trend is downward, it will most probably be moving downwards. That's why this 1 is to 2 settings works. All right. So this type of trading is known as price action based trading. So I guess we will be closing here because and there's a econ webinar tomorrow also. Okay, so we would love to have you in our club. Like we can explore more, but you know there's a time limit to this. We can talk more. We can do everything. You know.
Uh, hey guys, like as an ending note, I want to say that okay, I feel this webinar might be a bit more informative than the basics, but it's fine. Like I think you learned a lot, we enjoyed a lot, and all. It's very pleasure to have with you. Like we read about the news, like the first people who will come to know about the news, like it's we, the who will be trading in the financial markets. Yesterday Serum Institution got, like Serum COVID vaccine got fired, right? We are the ones who could predict it. Matlab, we are like, acha, seeing, coming to know in the market, and then seeing in TV, then they say the same thing what we actually know before them. Matlab, we do a very interesting way of analyzing news also. Like Nishita and Shashwat also added a very nice insights to our webinar and all. Fine then. Anything you want to talk, Shashwat and Nishita?
Yeah,
Yes, in the club also we have a very great discussion about any news that comes up. So if even like any of you want to have a discussion or have a debate, you can always reach out to us. We are always available. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
yeah. On a personal note, like our club is the most lenient in the, matlab, like all bhaias are great and everything is right.
Huh. Macha
You
to
should
hai.
enjoy,
Yeah.
like, like you got money on your mind, like you should join us.
Okay, then, like tomorrow's webinar, Econ will be a bit more interesting to you. I feel economics is a where you study the game theory of all the things happening around you. So we see you there. Thank you.